Every time you post on LinkedIn, people are making a decision. Is this someone who I can take seriously, or am I going to scroll on by? But most people get this platform completely wrong. LinkedIn doesn't reward the most professional, accomplished person. I know, because on paper, I shouldn't have worked. I wasn't corporate. I wasn't polished. I definitely wasn't playing the safe game. I was someone who was posting actively about quitting my job, starting my business, moving to Ibiza, and hosting retreats. It was not heard of to speak about these things on LinkedIn. And yet, LinkedIn made me over $500K in US dollars, and I have a 75,000 following, not from going viral once, not from hacks, but from 5 decisions that most people never make. These are the 5 mistakes that will quietly kill your authority on LinkedIn, and exactly what to do instead. Step 1, stop trying to be professional. Whenever you try to be something, it doesn't feel right for you, and it's not going to feel right on the other side of it either. And most people log on to LinkedIn and immediately put on a mask. They sound like everyone else, they're trying to be like everyone else, and they desperately do not want to offend anyone. And that, my friend, is the problem. LinkedIn doesn't punish personality. In fact, it loves it and actively punishes blandness. Now, considering that's often most of what we see on the LinkedIn feed, it's quite surprising. But I'm living proof. I definitely did not win on LinkedIn by sounding corporate. I won by being myself and sounding very, very clear about who I am, what I'm here to do, and how I can help. If you're trying to sound professional, you'll always sound replaceable. Authority doesn't come from polish. It comes from conviction in who you actually are, not who you're trying to be for the sake of your business or your personal brand. That's the ironic thing. People actually love the person behind the personal brand, and most people hide that. Step 2, stop over-explaining your intelligence. If you're here, you are likely someone who you have expertise and you want to grow on LinkedIn to share that expertise and get paid for it. Great. But this one is very subtle. It's deadly. So many smart people over-explain because they are afraid to be misunderstood. That's okay. I'm with you. I did this for years. I'd write really long posts. I'd add disclaimers, soften what I really wanted to say, and all it did was make me sound unsure. Here's the truth. The more you explain, the less people actually trust you. How many times have you been really trying to make a point that you keep saying more and it seems to land less and less every single time? So this applies on LinkedIn too. Clarity beats complexity every single time. Say less, but mean more with every word that you write. Step 3. This is important. I will always say this because most people ignore this advice. Pick one lane and stay in it. Most creators fail here. They'll be talking about mindset one day, marketing the next, their job, how they left their job, their wife, I don't know. They'll talk about so many different things, thinking that they're being multidimensional, being afraid of repeating themselves again and again and again, but all they're doing is creating confusion. When I committed to one lane, visibility, authority, personal brand, everything grew so much quicker. People remembered me. I was the retreat girl. That's what I did. I did retreats. I was in Ibiza and I talked about that every damn day. So it was very easy for people to be able to describe me in one sentence. How can people describe you in one sentence? Do not be afraid to repeat yourself in your content. This is what builds a brand. Step 4, let people feel the energy of what you are saying and teaching. This is what 99% of people on LinkedIn simply do not do. They completely dismiss the things that actually get us very, very far in life, which are labeled as soft skills. This is one of them that you can portray through your writing and it will change everything. Most people lead on LinkedIn with tips, frameworks, tactics, and those things work. They're amazing things to do, but they're missing one important piece. People don't buy purely on information. How many times have you bought something purely because of information? No. You buy because you feel like buying something. You feel hungry, so you order food. You feel in the mood to start 2026 in the best way possible, and you buy a course. This is how it works. And so some of my highest earning posts on LinkedIn, they didn't teach anything necessarily new, but I was letting people in on my energy. I was letting them behind the scenes on how I actually felt when I made certain decisions and why I made those decisions. But I remember when I posted about that story, I didn't just say I turned down 500k in investment. I was quite emotional as I was telling that story. I didn't want to. I wanted to take the money. As a small business owner who had massive entrepreneurial dreams, I desperately wanted to be able to say yes, but the reason that I didn't was because it didn't feel right. There was something wrong about it. And I let people in on that story in the post. If you do want to see the viral post, I mean, it's from a few years ago now, but you can see it. And I'll put that in the show notes for you. But that's not the point. And you growing on LinkedIn isn't going to ever be just from one post. But in every single post, I really want you to start thinking about, how was I feeling when I made this decision? And how can I convey this to other people? Because then the people reading your post will feel understood. They will feel called out sometimes. I remember when one of my clients signed a massive deal on LinkedIn, and she literally said to me, the person who wanted to hire her said, okay, you've been triggering me now for a while through your posts. And most people avoid that, but it's actually something that is good because it shows you what you need to change. And so when people feel you, they're going to trust much more in what you're teaching because they can connect with it. Step 5, stop being afraid of being too much and therefore playing small. This has to stop. This is the biggest one. Most people, when it comes to LinkedIn, for some reason or another, people who have actually achieved things, people who have so much experience, I'm sure you have so many stories to tell and so much lived experience and expertise, goodness knows what. But when it comes to LinkedIn, you shrink yourself down. This especially happens for women. You tone down what you actually want to say. Water it down, second guess everything. I did not make 500k by being quieter. I can tell you that right now. I made it by being very unapologetic. Sometimes it made me feel icky. But when you feel that way, by the way, if you ever feel icky about celebrating yourself, talking about expertise or credibility, here's a quick hack that you can do. Remind yourself this isn't about you. This is about your mission. This is a thing that's carried me through everything on my journey in business, growing a personal brand, putting myself out there. Because whenever something feels icky or hard, or I feel physically sick before posting a post, which has happened, I remind myself this isn't about me. This is about the people I'm here to reach. And so being too much really isn't the problem. LinkedIn rewards people who take up space, as long as that space is intentional. You don't really need to be louder, you need to be braver. And so here's the honest truth. LinkedIn didn't work for me because I hacked an algorithm or figured an algorithm out. No, and to be quite frank with you, I'm not interested in algorithms. I'm interested in humans behind those algorithms that actually drive them. So it worked because I stopped hiding. And if an Ibiza hippie talking about intuition, retreats, and meditation can build a $500,000 business on LinkedIn, I don't know. I have a feeling other people may be able to as well. So you go create your empire, not by copying me, not by copying anyone else, by owning who you fully are. If this landed for you, make sure to subscribe to this channel. It really helps me to create more and more content like this for you. And if there's other things that you really want me to speak on or questions that you have about my journey, growing my business, LinkedIn, put them in the comments and maybe that's what my next video will be about. And this is just the beginning to the oceans that no one else sees. I'll see you next time.